Now, water levels at multiple Rand Water's reservoirs have declined due to blackouts. The water supplier says there was a total electricity outage at Mapleton Booster Station. This could leave many areas in Ekurhuleni and Tshwane metros experiencing water shortages. Meanwhile, a newly built mega Vlakfontein reservoir will be unveiled tomorrow as part of Rand Water's efforts to augment shortages and storage infrastructure. Now, to discuss this further, I am joined by the utility spokesperson Makenosi Maroo via Zoom. Makenosi, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA. Just explain to me how dire the Eskom load shedding, how dire that situation is for Rand Water in particular. There was a time when we were on stage 6 load shedding, and there were many areas in Johannesburg where you had to announce a shortage of water and ask people to use it sparingly. How bad is this situation?
Good afternoon, good morning to your viewers. We are really impacted by load shedding. At this moment, it's more of a power trip more than load shedding. We experience a total power failure as indicated, at our Mapleton Booster Station. So this booster station is supplied by the city of Ekurhuleni substation. However, it is fed from the Eskom grid. So when we experience that power failure or that trip, we sent out technicians. It was firstly Ekurhuleni. They could not find any fault. Then Eskom technicians went in and they worked around the clock, and eventually the problem was sorted out.
All right, so the problem is sorted out. So it doesn't mean that in days to come there will be areas that might be affected, because I know that just because the problem has been sorted out, for the water to actually reach residents' taps, it takes a few hours, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does not automatically come through. Remember, we have air trapped inside the pipeline, so we need to obviously work out to deal out with the air. Then we supply water, so it will take time. But at the moment, we are pumping water. So as you're saying, it will take time. But some areas will be affected. Some areas in Ekurhuleni, areas like Tsakani, Del Park, Blackpan, Davidton, Springs, Etwata, they will be impacted. And other areas in Tshwane, I think Gasfontein Reservoir has been impacted, Mooikloof and Porobreek will also be impacted. And some areas of Govenbeki, areas like Secunda, Kinross, Leandra, and Evander, and Sasol, and lastly in Balentle, those areas will be impacted.
Just explain to me, I mean, I know I asked you this question a little earlier, and you were saying with this particular issue, it was just a power failure on Eskom's side. But in general, besides this pump station in Ekurhuleni in particular, how bad has it been for Rand Water, trying to run around to make sure that you're able to give water to the residents that you serve during the time that we've been under load shedding? I mean, in Parliament, we heard that since September, South Africa has only had 2 days of no load shedding. So I imagine that this is affecting you as well?
Yes, absolutely. It is affecting us. Remember, if we don't have power, we are unable to pump. I know that I did indicate in the past in my previous interviews that at our primary pump stations, we are exempted from load shedding. However, with that exemption, we still experience power trips from time to time. And if we are unable to pump, we are not able to supply water. So we are impacted by load shedding.
And, just explain to me in terms of, I know that you're launching a new mega reservoir tomorrow. How will this help you deal with, for instance, water issues in Ekurhuleni and infrastructure backlog?
Yes. We're very excited. We are launching the Vlakfontein Reservoir. The size of the reservoir is 200. It can store over 210 megaliters. So that tells you the size, the sheer size of the reservoir. So that means we'll be able to store more water. That means we'll be able to supply water to our customers who are municipalities. We're quite excited.
And speaking of municipalities themselves, we know that Eskom has also blamed its debt on, clients that are not paying them. Are you experiencing the same problem as Rand Water?
Yes, we do have that issue obviously in terms of collecting a payment from our clients, and our clients obviously they also have issues with their customers, but we have constant engagements and meetings with our customers in terms of arrangements, in terms of who's going to be paying and how are they going to be paying, because they are also having difficulties with their clients. So we have those meetings from time to time.
And just lastly, Makenosi, I know that tomorrow you're going to be joined by the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Senzo Mchunu, when you launch this particular project. And I know you say you're excited about it, but just to give me an honest picture of how things are looking in South Africa in terms of water and our water shortage, infrastructure, backlog, etc. We have been told numerous times that we are a water scarce country. But what is your honest picture as Rand Water?
You know what? I think maybe if we look at the bigger picture, yes, we don't have water in abundance in this country, and we really need to admit that. And secondly, from municipalities, we do see that there is water that is going to waste. Over 30% is just going to waste. We are purifying, we are supplying water as rainwater, but if that water is not accounted, that water is not being taken care of, then we have an issue. Thirdly, when we have high temperatures, the consumption often goes high. Then that means we have to call out and request all our consumers and end users to use water sparingly. But from rainwater's point of view, we are able to supply water because obviously the capacity is there. But when the consumption is quite high, obviously it will impact the demand.
All right. Well, thank you very much for speaking to us. That was Rand Water's spokesperson, Makenosi Maroo.